Nice to see you here. I'll be there in a moment. Good. What a beautiful morning. Sun is shining. Blue sky. We have a lot to be grateful for here in this beautiful town, Innsbruck. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May everyone everywhere be happy and free. It's very easy to project, be happy, be free, be peace outwards, across the ocean, across the land. Let's turn it around and say, peace begins in our body. Peace begins in our family unit. If we can't find peace there, how can we expect peace in the world? I think we as yogis, we understand that. For sure in my life, there's been a lot of conflict. Internally, in my family environment, with friends, growing up at school, oh my gosh. The turmoil, the challenge, the arguments, and maybe I came to yoga because of all of that. And there's a continual journey for me to feel peaceful inside myself every single day. How violent are we with our own thoughts? Toward ourselves, toward others. Maybe we voice them, maybe we don't. But how violent are you toward yourself? Do you listen to your chitter-chatter? If I only had this, or if I was only more pretty, or if I was only a bit skinnier, or if I only had a bigger bum, I would be happy. For example, yeah? And then we walk around the day thinking everyone else should be peaceful. So I wish for you inner peace. I wish for us all inner peace, and as we feel that and as we embody that, as we know this ripples into our environment, it ripples, the energy of that is experienced across the ocean. Yeah. Is experienced through the telephone when you're talking to your loved ones. They hear how you are. So it's a practice, yeah. We can't hope for peace, we can't hope for happiness. We have to get down and do the work to actually represent that and be that. And what that means, what work that means is an individual process. It's an individual pathway. How we practice yoga and what principles of yoga we bring into our daily life is a self-practice. What might be more relevant to me in terms of my yoga practice might be irrelevant to someone else. Someone may need to do a lot of breathing, do a lot of sitting, while others need to chant, yeah, and have groups together and be with people. Yeah. And it's all part of it. It's all welcome. It's all there. Yeah, it's all valid. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So today we're on our yoga mat. We'll be doing some gentle back bend. Some of you were here last week. It was back bending too. But I felt like continuing the direction today. It felt right to do some heart openers. Again, it's spring. I always get a little more back bendy in spring. I love to awaken to the energy of spring, and it's like an inner cleansing and an outer cleansing in spring for me. Maybe you feel the same when it doesn't be so cold outside and you just want to, I don't know, be more expressive. That's how it feels for me. Wearing yellow or something becomes more bright. So let's breathe together. Let's enjoy this community class together and awaken to your innate peace within. Let it slowly radiate from your body. And then you'll see the ripple effect. It's normal if you have, moments like this. It's like we're all beautiful and peaceful here, and then maybe you go home and something triggers you, and there's like something comes out of your mouth, and you go, "Oh, okay, everything I just did in yoga went out the door." And then you start being violent to yourself. I feel guilty. I feel ashamed. I shouldn't have done that. I can't do yoga. What have I been practicing all my, these self-talks. Really, if you recognize it, it's just another chance to awaken in that moment and say, okay, let's start again. And the more you do that, the easier it will become. You'll reset easier, so it may not affect you for as so many hours, maybe, than it did before. You'll be able to reset yourself. You'll feel more calm inside. The longer you practice yoga, that's at least been my experience. Ups and downs will always happen. I don't think we can always just assume that we'll be smiling our whole life. But the downs may not be so down with the practice of yoga. Over time, it gets easier. Yeah. We reset easier. Yeah. The reactions may not be as strong as they were before. Yeah. That's maybe one way to see how you are traveling on this path of yoga. How quickly do you reset after disaster happens? Yeah. Okay, let's practice. We start in virasana, so sitting on our heels. If it's not comfortable for you, you could sit maybe on a blanket, or you could remain cross-legged, no problem. Just before we begin, it might be also helpful if you're more to the front of the yoga mat. This would be easier for especially those of you at the wall. Come closer to the front of the mat. So let's take a deep breath in and reach our arms up. Gaze to your thumbs. And then exhale, draw your hands down your center to your heart space. And then again, reach your arms up. Take a full deep breath in. And exhale, draw your hands down your center. And then resting your hands on your legs. And take some moments to breathe and recognize how you are this morning. Go deep to your core and really recognize how are you this morning. And can you show that to the world? Can you be authentic? Let's not hide. Show the true you to others. Let your breath radiate into every corner of your body. Let that breath soothe stress or challenges. Let that breath help you get up in the morning, face the day, enjoy the sun, enjoy company of others, and enjoy the company of yourself. And then we start to bring a bit of movement to our shoulders, to the neck, the head, to the rib cage. Spontaneous, nice and soft. Let it really extend from the authentic you this morning. Do what really feels good for your body this morning. And carry that through into every asana, be it child's pose, be it a stronger, more expressive pose. So we'll ground our fingertips to the earth and shift your hips to the right side of your body and your feet to the left. Ground in the left sitting bone. You could sit on a blanket if you need to. Inhale, grow tall through the spine, and we'll exhale, twist to the right. Come over center as you inhale for a side bend toward the left, so toward your feet. Come back up through center, inhale. Ground your fingers, exhale, and we'll sweep the left leg around behind us for the pigeon pose. We'll stay active. If it's not finding the knee, you could stay cross-legged instead. If you're in pigeon, ground through the fingertips and take time to lengthen back through that left leg into the heel. And then from your pelvis up through the rib cage. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Ground your hands to the earth, the left toes are tucked under. Lift the left knee off the ground and hug the right knee and forehead toward each other in a half plank. Hug in. And then ground the right foot between your hands as you exhale. Ground the left knee also. Draw the hips a little back to raise your chest and arms. Inhale. Then you can soften the hips forward as you exhale. Then we'll begin to open the arms wide. And as we open the arms wide, draw the hips back. You can flex the right foot and come into a forward bend, grounding the hands to the earth. And we repeat that cycle. Bend the right knee. Sweep your arms forward and up. Inhale. And then start to draw the hips back. Open your heart forward. Find your stability. Ground your fingertips. One more cycle. Inhale. Pulse forward. Draw the hips back. Flex the right foot. And forward into a forward bend. Exhale. Come into lunge. Ground your hands and shift the right leg back for plank. Inhale. And find your way to the earth. Exhaling. You can bring your fingertips a little in front of your shoulders, a little wider than the shoulders also. And roll your heart up, inhaling for a dynamic cobra. Then roll back down to the earth as you exhale. A few cycles, take your time. Snaking up. Going back down to the earth. The legs are active. Reach through the toes. Really spread the toes. And then you can bring your hands by your rib cage for classic cobra. Draw the shoulders down and the elbows back. And inhale, slowly raise your chest. And press over the knees for downward facing dog pose as you exhale. And we take some breaths here in downward facing dog pose. Feel free to pulse your legs, maybe roll over the toes, one foot at a time. Bring some movement into the ankles, right up your legs by the knees, all the way up into the hips. Breathe into every part of your body. Maybe nod your head a little, turn your head, little yeses, little no's. And then we slide the left knee to the left hand. And then sweep the right leg on top of the left leg for the second side. So the right sitting bone grounds down. And we twist toward the left with our exhale. So the feet are just comfortably next to the right side of your hip. Come over center as you inhale for a side bend toward the right. Exhale. Come back up, inhaling. Ground your fingertips, and as you exhale, we'll reach the right leg back. You can tuck the toes under, anchor through the fingertips, and reach back from that right hip down through that right leg into the right heel. And using the fingertips to support opening through the rib cage. Ground your hands to the earth, exhale. Half plank, hug the left knee in toward your forehead. And then ground the left foot between your hands as you exhale. Draw the hips a little back as you raise your chest and arms to begin with. And then soften the hips a little forward as you exhale. And then with your next exhale, start to extend through the left leg. Sweep the arms out to the sides. You can flex the left foot as you ground the fingertips. 2 more cycles now. Inhale. Reach your arms up, and as you exhale, press into the left foot, draw the hips back, and then fold forward and down. 1 more deep inhale. Start to draw the hips back and exhale as you fold down. Coming slowly into lunge, and from there into plank pose. Inhale. Take your time to come to the earth, either with straight legs or grounding the knees first. Hands in front of you on the fingertips, a little wider than shoulder width apart. And as you come up, feel free to maybe circle the shoulders. You could look a little left or right. You can stay as low as you like to the earth or come higher up. And then grounding your hands by your rib cage for cobra, or perhaps an upward facing dog pose if you'd like to come higher up to the front of the feet with the knees and hips off the earth. And then rolling over your knees or toes into a downward facing dog pose. Exhale. And then as a little variation, roll or pulse yourself forward through plank pose. And keep the toes tucked under, and you can soften the hips toward the earth and open yourself into an upward facing dog pose variation. And then press through the hands, maybe bend the knees a little as you come back to dog pose, exhaling. And when we can do that again, inhaling, pulsing yourself forward via plank into this variation of upward facing dog pose. And then press through the hands, maybe slightly bend the knees, draw the hips back into a downward facing dog pose. And then slowly raise your heels toward the ceiling, bend your knees, open your heart toward your legs first. Look forward, and you can step or jump your feet to your hands for Ardha Uttanasana as you inhale. Folding Uttanasana as you exhale. We draw the feet quite close together. And then with your inhale, start to bend your knees, draw your hips back for Utkatasana. So a flowing variation. We'll reach the arms up as we inhale, and then draw the arms down by your hips. Exhale and sink a little deeper through the pelvis. And as you inhale, maybe lift the pelvis, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, sink the pelvis, draw the arms back. 1 more full cycle. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Interlace the fingers behind you now. Deep breath in. Open your heart toward the ceiling. And then dive forward, Uttanasana, exhale. Ground your hands by your feet. We'll step the right leg back for a high lunge. Deep breath in. Pause here as you exhale. Then with your next inhale, straighten the left leg and sweep the arms out to the side and down. And as you exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, sweep the arms by the ears, straighten the left leg. And as you exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms wide. 1 more full cycle. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Keep the left knee bent. Reach your arms by the ears. Inhale. Hands in prayer at your heart. Lunge, twist. Sweep forward and bring the right arm to the outside of the left leg. Other way. Twist the other way. twist the other way, yeah. And ground your hands to the earth as you exhale. Come through a steady plank pose. Inhale. And choose your connecting vinyasa. You might like a cat-cow. You might like a strong chaturanga dandasana. Choosing cobra or upward facing dog pose. And then we meet in downward facing dog pose as you exhale. Let's slowly inhale and reach the right leg toward the ceiling, breathing in. Exhale, we'll step the right foot forward between the hands. Coming into a high lunge again, inhaling. Pause here as you exhale. And then using your next inhale to extend through that right leg. And as you exhale, open the arms wide, bending the right knee again. Inhale, slowly extend through the right leg. Exhale, sink deep. One more full cycle. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Keeping the right knee bent, reach your arms up by the ears. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, pulse forward and we twist toward the right. And ground your hands by your right foot. Exhale. Let's step forward. Inhale. And fold Uttanasana. Exhale. With your inhale, we'll bend the knees. Come to Utkatasana. And with your exhale, arms by your side. Sink deeper. Inhale. Open up. Roll and open up through the ribcage. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind you. Open through your heart space. Inhale. And dive forward. Exhale. Draw the arms over. Ground your hands by your feet. Exhale. We'll step the left leg back. As you inhale, reach up and directly straighten that right leg. And as you exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms wide, coming into lunge. Yeah. Inhale. Extend through that right leg. Exhale, open the arms wide. One more full cycle. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the right knee bent and reach your arms up. Inhale. Hands in prayer, lean forward, twist to the right. You might like a bound variation now. Right arm around and left arm under. And ground your hands to the earth as you exhale through plank pose. Inhale and connect it through as you exhale. Take an extra moment into your back bend, inhaling. And we reach in downward facing dog pose, exhaling. Let's radiate the left leg to the ceiling. Inhale. And shift the left foot forward as you exhale. And as you inhale, come up and directly straighten the left leg. And then as you exhale, bend the left knee, open the arms wide out to the side and down. Inhale, extending. Exhale, bending. One more full cycle. Inhale. Exhale. Keep that left knee bent. Just raise your arms. Inhale. Hands in prayer to your heart. Lean forward and we twist to the left. Option hands in prayer or bound variation. Go further. Ground your hands to the earth as you exhale. Let's step forward. Inhale. Uttanasana. Exhale. Bend the knees. Utkatasana. Inhale. Let's come to Tadasana now. Arms by your side. Exhale. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Side bend to the right. Exhale. over center. Inhale, second side, reach up and then over, exhale. Inhale through center, radiate through both arms. Exhale, Utkatasana. Hands in prayer at your heart. We twist to the right for Parivrita Utkatasana. Try it with your feet a bit closer together, and then your legs will stay more parallel. Yeah. Let's come back through center, reach your arms up. Inhale. For the second side, sink deep. Exhale, twist to the left. Travel back through center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, dive forward, interlace your fingers behind you. Then change how you interlace the fingers. If the right thumb's on the outside, change all the fingers. Bring in the left thumb on the outside. Inhale for Ardha Uttanasana. So open your heart forward. You can ground your fingers to the shins or to the earth. Exhale, ground your hands, then fully either step to plank or jump for Chaturanga Dandasana. Travel through your back bend, inhaling. And we meet in downward facing dog pose, exhaling. And draw your feet quite close together. And we'll radiate the right leg toward the ceiling, breathe in. For warrior one, exhale, step the right foot forward and ground the back here. And when you're ready, we'll raise the chest and arms. Interlace your fingers behind you as you exhale. Take that extra moment to roll your heart toward the ceiling. And then we dive forward, either the right shoulder to the right thigh, or you could go deeper, bringing your head toward the inside of that right foot. Press into that right foot with a good support through your center. Come back through warrior one, inhale. Open the legs maybe a little wider now for warrior two as you exhale. In flow, we'll go side warrior with our next inhale. With your exhale, the right forearm to the right thigh will reach the left arm over Utthita Parshva Konasana. Travel back through warrior two as you inhale. And then you can circle the arms to the earth. Exhale, plank or half plank, radiating that right foot off the earth as you bend the elbows through Chaturanga Dandasana. Then ground the front of the feet for your back bend, inhale. And we meet downward facing dog pose. Exhale. Let's radiate the left leg to the ceiling, inhale. Sweeping the left foot forward, exhale, ground the back heel first, have a solid base, and then reach up for your warrior one. Interlace your fingers behind you, exhale. Take that extra moment to roll your heart toward the ceiling, inhale. Good, strongly ground down here. Exhale, then dive forward, either the left shoulder to the left thigh, or go deeper and bring your head more to the inner left foot. Look down to the back foot if you can. Inhale, return, slow and steady. Take that time to really radiate your attention into the fingers. And then with your exhale, open warrior two. Arms are strong, active, radiating. Side warrior with your next inhale. Utthita Parshva Konasana with your exhale. Circle the arms back, coming into warrior two again with your inhale. Then grounding your hands to the earth, exhale through plank or half plank. And travel through your connecting vinyasa. Good. To downward facing dog pose, exhale. Option to pause a cycle, or we'll practice this again together. Radiate your right leg with your inhale. And shift the right foot forward. Exhale. Ground the back heel. Warrior one. Inhale. We know the cycle now. We can flow. Exhale, interlace. Roll your heart. Inhale. Dive forward. One long exhale. Then use your next inhale to slowly pull yourself back up. All the way. Reach through the fingers. And then open wide. Warrior two. Exhale. Good. Side warrior now. Inhale. Exhale, right forearm to the right thigh. Reach the left arm over. Circle back through warrior two now. Inhale. Ground your hands to the earth. Exhale. Slow and steady and stable transition. Stay strong through your center. Pressing back to dog pose. So radiate our left leg, inhale. And shift forward, exhale. Ground that back heel so you're stable as you come up for warrior one. Then interlace your fingers, exhale. Roll your heart to the ceiling first, inhale. And then dive forward, exhale. Use your next inhale to pull yourself back up. Then open wide for a warrior two. Exhale. Side warrior. Inhale. Right hand to the right thigh. Exhale. Utthita Parshvakonasana. Come back through a warrior two as you inhale. And ground your hands. Exhale. Travel through. Slow, steady, precise, clear movements. Bringing you back smoothly to a downward facing dog pose. Take 5 breaths. One more full deep breath. And with your exhale, come down to your knees. Sit back to your heels. Interlace your fingers behind you. Inhale, extend through the arms and roll your heart toward the ceiling. And we dive forward. Exhale. Resting your belly to your thighs and maybe the crown of the head to the earth as you bring the arms over. Slow and steady transition back. Inhale, you can release the arms, reach your arms up by the ears. And then as you exhale, ground your hands to the earth for half dog pose. Walk the hands further forward, another 20 centimeters or so. Breathe in, and as you exhale, draw the hips back. You might like to go to a back bending variation where you bring the heart deeper down to the earth. Breathe. Have the toes tucked under so the toes are drawing toward your knees. Raise your chest a little and use your toes to help shift your weight forward onto the forearms. Draw the elbows underneath the shoulders. Lengthen through the lower back, and then we'll lift the knees off the ground for forearm plank pose. So press the forearms into the earth, that's it. Find your right hand. The right hand turns and grounds just to the left elbow. So the right forearm is parallel to the front of your mat. Shift your heels to the right. We come to a forearm side plank. The left foot can be in front of the right for an easier variation. You can radiate the left arm to the ceiling if you want to. Yeah. Slow and steady transition now. So you bring the left forearm parallel to the front of your mat. Right hand will come to the waist if you like. You can also radiate the arm to the ceiling. Exhale, slowly transition to forearm plank. Both fingers face to the front of the mat now. And then ground your knees, ground the front of the hips. Point the toes back. Either stay in Sphinx or you can straighten the arms for a deeper back bend as you inhale. Draw the shoulders down. And then lower to the earth as you exhale and sweep the arms down by your sides, palms facing down. Radiate through your legs, spread through the toes, and we'll reach the right leg toward the ceiling. The right leg is straight, and you can raise your chest also for Shalabhasana variations. Lower down as you exhale for the second side. As you inhale, slow and steady, reaching the left leg up, raise your chest too. Lower down slowly as you exhale. Bring your hands in front of your shoulders again, onto the fingertips, a little wider than shoulder width. And slowly roll your heart toward the ceiling as you inhale. Lowering back down as you exhale. We can add the legs now. As you roll your heart up, you can bend the right knee and arch yourself back, drawing the toes toward the crown of your head. And you exhale, lower back down, change sides. And maybe one more cycle on your own. Really savor that moment as you bend back and pause. And then prepare for classic cobra, or you might prefer upward facing dog pose with your inhale. Pressing back, downward facing dog pose. Exhaling. Bring the feet quite close together and radiate the right leg to the ceiling as you inhale. And slowly stepping the right foot forward between your hands for high lunge. Inhale. Challenge your front leg into a right angle. You could choose to maybe sink a little deeper. Let's draw the hands together into prayer. Start to lean forward and we twist toward the right. For a variation, as you exhale, the left hand comes to the earth to the outside of that right foot. You might like to have the hand on a block for a little more height. And then we radiate the right arm toward the ceiling. Yeah. You could be maybe even a little bit wider through the legs, and you might find it a bit even easier to anchor that hand down. Mm-hmm. So from here, the left hand stays where it is, and we slowly straighten that right leg. The back heel is off the ground for a variation of Parivrita Trikonasana, or revolved triangle. Come into high lunge now with your inhale. And we'll open into a warrior two with your exhale. Slowly extend through that right leg as you inhale. For Trikonasana now, radiate out toward the front of your mat. Reach out first. And then maybe ground the hand to the shin, or to the inside of that right foot, maybe to a block. Let me reach the left arm toward the ceiling. Draw the left arm over by your ear with your exhale. Palm of the hand faces down. And then we'll start to bend the right knee for Utthita Konasana. And you might like to stay in this variation or then travel to the bound variation by sweeping the left arm toward your hip, around behind you. Find your fingers behind that right outer right hip. And then slowly roll your heart toward the ceiling. One more deep breath. Release the hands, turn to the left for Skandasana. We'll bend the left knee and the arms will radiate out to the sides. And take a back bend variation here if you can. Really open your heart space forward. Let's change sides. Inhale, exhale. To center now, straighten through both legs, draw the feet parallel, interlace the fingers behind you, deep inhale, and then we dive forward, stay nice and open through the front of your heart as you dive forward, exhaling. If your head happens to touch the ground, you can bring the feet a little closer together. You could take 2 blocks and have it at that height. Again now, then draw the feet maybe a little wider apart and a bit more parallel, that's it. And now reach your front of your heart forward. Yeah, good now. 2 more breaths. With your inhale, slowly raise your chest. As you exhale, you can bring the fingertips to the earth under your shoulders. And then inhale, turn to the front of your yoga mat. And as you exhale, we'll ground the left knee to the earth. Option, simply stay in here, softening the hips forward, or go in further, the left hand to the earth, and we'll bend the left knee and reach back with the right hand, drawing the heel toward the buttocks simply. If you can't reach, you could maybe take a belt over the front of that left foot and hold on to the belt. Heel toward the buttocks as your focus. One more deep breath. And as you exhale, release the left foot. Option, have your hands on blocks for Ardha Hanuman, drawing the hips back. With the same principle, reach and open the front of your heart space forward. If you need to, have your hands up on blocks so you can really create space between the navel and the breastbone. Flex the right foot. And then we'll point the left foot back and draw your weight back to sit your left sitting bone on the left heel. So we're balancing. The right side of your pelvis is off the ground, so you need to use your hands for support, and we can take a deeper forward bend here. If it's not fine for the left knee, you could sit up on a bolster, for example. Right foot is flexed. Two more deep breaths. And using the support of your hands, we'll now sit to the inside of that left foot. You might like to draw that left calf muscle a little bit out to the side, giving you more space to sit down. Sit on a blanket if you're sitting more to one sitting bone. Sit completely on a blanket so you can balance out your weight. And once you're fully grounded, we bend the right knee, drawing the heel toward the center of your hamstring. Grow tall here as you inhale. You can then reach the right arm toward the ceiling. As you exhale, lean forward and wrap the right arm in front of that right shin and around. Bring the left arm around to find your fingers or your t-shirt. Then lift your chest as you inhale, and we twist to the left as we exhale. Press down through that right foot and spread the right toes. Over center, inhale. Release the arms, exhale. And the right leg will shift out to the side. First variation, the right hand to the inside of the right leg, and we'll sweep the left arm out and over. Second variation, if you're quite open in this side variation, you could use the right hand and sweep it underneath your left leg and hold the left ankle, the right hand. And then you'll want to sink that right shoulder toward the earth and bring the left arm over to hold the outer right foot. The important thing here is A, to breathe. Would be helpful. And then, of course, to create space. It goes together. Create space to breathe, breathe, and create space. So between your navel and your breastbone, create that space there. Lengthen along your middle upper back. Two more breaths. Slowly return yourself back to center. You can bend the right knee and draw it for your right foot forward in front. Shift your weight into lunge, tucking the left toes under. From there into plank pose. And lower yourself to the earth, exhale. Sweep your arms down by your sides for a Shalabhasana again. Radiate through your legs and toes, and with your inhale, slowly reach that right leg toward the ceiling. Lower down as you exhale. Left leg toward the ceiling, inhale. Lower down as you exhale. Draw the hands by your rib cage. Classic cobra, inhale. And as you exhale, draw yourself over your knees, tuck the toes under for half dog pose. Walk the hands further forward, your hips back, and then you could choose to sink your heart toward the earth for deeper back bend variation. So with the toes tucked under, you can use them. If you raise your chest, use your toes to help shift your weight forward onto the forearms. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Lengthen through the lower back again, and then with your exhale, you can lift the knees off the ground. Forearm plank pose again. press into my hands. Yep, good. Shift your right hand to the left elbow for side forearm plank again. Option, keep the legs where they are, or you could go further by radiating the left knee toward the ceiling, inhale, and then bring the ball of the foot behind the right leg, and then from there open through your heart. Very slowly transition, extend through the left leg, ground the left foot, ground the left fingers toward the right elbow. Changing sides. Inhale. Eventually maybe radiate the right knee toward the ceiling. And then bring the ball of the foot behind the left leg. And then from there roll your heart toward the ceiling. Yeah, beautiful. And slowly transition to forearm plank pose. Fingers face to the front of the mat. Elbows underneath the shoulders. And then ground your knees, the front of the pelvis. Exhaling. Option, straighten the arms here in Sphinx. Inhale. And then lower to the earth as you exhale. For flowing Sahaja Bhujangasana, the fingertips in front of the shoulders and maybe a little wider apart. And then as you roll your heart toward the ceiling, you could choose to bend the right knee, reach back, draw the toes toward your head. And then take your time to lower down as you exhale. Really savor the moment of growing deeper into the pose. And then coming out of the pose, and you can repeat the cycle one more time. Let it be spontaneous, so let it be really fluid, like you're maybe moving in water. There's a lot of freedom there. And then we'll gradually meet for classic cobra, the hands by the ribs. Take a deep breath in. And then roll over your knees for downward facing dog pose as you exhale. If you feel your lower back a little, bend the knees in downward facing dog pose for some breaths. Really lengthen into the lower back. And then we'll slowly radiate the left leg toward the ceiling. Inhale. Exhaling the left foot forward between the hands. Steady transition for high lunge. Start to bring our hands together into prayer. Press into the ball of that right foot to propel you forward, to twist to the left, exhaling. So the right arm really anchors to the outside of that left leg, and then from there you can ground the fingertips to the earth or to a block, and then radiate the left arm to the ceiling. Go in further to extend the left leg with your exhale. Good. Inner upper thighs draw toward each other. The left hip draws back. Your heart reaches to the front of the yoga mat, and then we roll the heart toward the ceiling. Let's transition high lunge. Start to bend the left knee. Inhale, open up. And from there into a warrior two, exhaling. Let's extend the left leg. Inhale for Trikonasana. Reach out first. Lengthen, lengthen. And then the left hand to the shin. or to the inside of that left foot, maybe onto a block. Radiate the right arm over by your ear, palms faces down. And then we can start to bend the left knee for Utthita Parshva Konasana. You can either stay in this variation or go to the bound. So press the left shoulder against the inner left leg. And from there, you can use that support to roll your heart toward the ceiling. Whoops. Release your hands and turn to the right for Skandasana. We'll bend the left knee. Open your arms wide and again open your heart forward. Change, inhale, exhale. Over center now, draw your feet parallel, interlace your fingers again behind you. Take that extra breath in and then dive forward as you exhale. See that your toes are in line so that not one foot is further forward on your yoga mat than the other. So if you were to draw these invisible lines along your mat, heels in line, toes in line. Change how you interlace the fingers. So if the right thumb's on the outside, change it so the left thumb is. Two more deep breaths. And slowly raise your chest as you inhale. As you exhale, the hands underneath your shoulders. As you inhale, turn to the front of the yoga mat. As you exhale, grounding the right knee to the earth. Option, stay here in a low lunge or go deeper, bending the right knee. Reach back with the left hand and draw the heel toward the buttocks. One more deep breath. Release the right leg, exhale. Draw the hips back, Ardha Hanuman. So classic, the hips are lifted. Option, have your hands on blocks so you can create that space between the pubic bone and navel. From the navel to the breastbone. And point the right foot. We'll sit on that right heel with the right sitting bone. Use your fingertips to stabilize you. If you need to, sit higher up on a blanket. And then we take a forward fold. Support yourself to sit now to the inside of that right foot. Maybe release that right calf muscle a bit more to the side. Sit higher up on a blanket for more support, or especially to balance out the pelvis if you're leaning toward the left hip especially. Sit completely on a blanket. And then we can go further, bending the left knee. Have a good gap between the left foot and that right knee, so there would be space for another foot there. Then grow tall, press into that left foot, ground through the sitting bones. And then with your exhale, we twist to the right. So an open twist. And we can reach the left arm in front of the left leg to find the fingers. Or your t-shirt. Center back, inhale. Left leg opens out to the side as you exhale. Breathe in, and when you're ready, open into a side bend. Maybe the left hand simply to the inside of that left leg. Or going deeper, the left arm under, take hold of the ankle, sink that left shoulder deeper down, and draw the right arm over, keeping your heart space nice and open. Maintain space through your center and down, so lower, middle, upper back really radiates and reaches to the crown of the head. Breathe. Draw your left hand to the inside of the left leg here. No, you don't need to go down. You just stay fully up and just stay there. That's it. Yeah. How's that? Yeah. Slowly we'll lift up. Inhale. Bend the left knee. Draw the left foot in front of you. Shift your weight forward, coming into low lunge. Inhale. Tuck the right toes under. And exhale, stepping back for plank pose, and follow through to the earth all the way, laying down. Let's turn around onto our backs for the bridge pose. Bend your knees. If you draw your heels in enough so you could touch them with your fingertips, perhaps. And the feet draw parallel, so let's say hip width apart. Lengthen into the tailbone. We'll go direct as you inhale. Let's lift up for bridge pose. So bridge pose first. So come back down. Come back down. Bridge pose first, so the arms are by your side. And then as you slowly lift up, we can interlace the fingers in underneath us. Roll the shoulder blades toward each other for 5 full, deep breaths. Press into the feet, engage, activate your inner upper thighs. One more full deep breath. And then slowly release your fingers, broaden across the shoulder blades. Take your time to slowly lower down. Some of you might like a Supta Konasana now, the soles of the feet together, the knees apart. Some of you might like Urdhva Dhanurasana, going further from bridge pose. The legs stay in the same position, but now we'll bring the hands in underneath the shoulders, or just the fingertips. Draw the elbows toward the ceiling. Those of you practicing, press into the hands. Bring your hands wider apart if you can. Yeah. Press into the hands, press into the feet, and first lift through the hips. And then maybe come to the crown of the head. If you need to readjust the hands, or go direct, extending through the arms. Stay a good 5 to 8 breaths. So press into your feet, open through the front of the pelvis. Open your heart forward. You could even turn your head a little or look up in between. Whee, nice. One more deep, full breath. Then look up toward the ceiling, maybe come to the balls of the feet as you slowly lower down, bending the elbows, coming to the back, the shoulders. And then slowly lowering all the way down. Roll over to your belly, coming into Cobra. And then roll over your knees and wander yourself to the front of the mat, taking blocks or bolsters or blankets. We sit for virasana. The feet are wide enough apart so you can sit your hips now down between both feet. As you sit down, use your fingertips to draw the calf muscles a little back, a little out to the sides. And then sitting down, the toes extend toward the back of your mat. If you're sitting directly on the earth, you could lay down directly perhaps, or take a bolster and lay it down long ways so you have a support for your lower back all the way to your head. If you're already sitting on something, you'll need to stack up higher before you try to lay back. So I can come around and help you a bit. We'll stay in the pose for about 4 minutes or so. Do you want to lay back? Okay, just wait for a second. Schauen wir mal. Ist genug? If you are laying back, you could choose to bring the arms up by your ears. I mean, it works. It's accentuating a back bend for you. Let's do it a bit different. Might be enough, or... Lift your head, you might not need that, yeah, better. I'm not a real fan of just doing one side because then it's a bit uneven. I would just sit up and sit on a bolster, bending both knees. Ohne hinzulegen. Also Arm lift up a bit more. Sollte die bleiben. Oder beide Beine gestreckt und dran hinlegen. Another 5 breaths if you're wherever you are. If you're laying back, then very slowly, using your inhale to come back up, avoid twisting, engage in your abdominal muscles. Take your time, maybe a few breaths to come all the way back up. Start to lean forward into your hands, and as you come into dog pose, keep your knees bent to begin with and focus on the extension through the lower back. And then once you feel nicely open through the lower back, then you can start to address the legs. Down into the knees and the ankles. And slowly come down to your knees. Maybe cross the ankles and sit back onto your buttocks, onto the edge of a blanket. I'll extend the left leg and bring the right foot over the left knee. For a simple twist, open your heart here, inhale, and we twist toward the right, exhale. Press into that left foot as you twist toward the right. Works too. Come back through center, inhaling, exhaling. Release that right foot, ground in that foot, exhale, open up, and twist, exhaling. Come back to center, inhaling. And the left leg forward for Paschimottanasana. Deep inhale, open into the heart space. Exhale, stay nice and open as you fold forward. Feel free to bend the knees and rest the belly on the legs. Maybe even wrap the arms underneath the legs. Take deep breaths into the lower back. Deep breath between the ribs. Slow return to Dandasana, simply sitting upright. We prepare for Shavasana. As you come to lay down, if you like, another final twist in your own time, a little left, a little right. Take deeper, fuller breaths. Take your time to roll over to one side. Coming gradually back to sitting. Let's inhale and reach our arms up by our ears. Reach through the fingers. Stay tall through the spine as you exhale. Draw the hands down, your center to your heart. And repeating deep breath in, reaching up. Through the mouth, deep exhale as you draw your hands down your center. And this cycle we'll chant together Om. Deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. You know, for 2 years we didn't get to do our Christmas event, so Lucas came up with the idea of having just a meal together. Next Saturday night we're going to have a meal similar to what we do at Christmas time. There'll be dal, there'll be curries, a friend will bring some rice, we'll have some desserts, we'll have tea, and it's free and you just come if you want to come. It's helpful if you write me an SMS or an email so I know how much to cook. There's usually always too much, so you can spontaneously come too. And a young student will be bringing her harp. She's going to bring her harp to play some music. And if you have a musical instrument and you want to share a song with us, you're more than welcome to come and share it too. So it's just a chance to come and eat together, spend time together as a community, and enjoy the spring. Between 5:30 and 8:30 the doors will stay open, so you just come and go as you like. Easy, yeah. So otherwise have a beautiful week. See you soon. Dankeschön. Danke online. Have a beautiful day. If you're still here, see you soon at the Shala. Bye. Thank you, yoga and meditation. So, yeah.
We lie down. So from, I don't know the pose name, but from hero, like,
Yeah.
and we lie down flat.
Yeah.